Hello everyone, welcome back to another speed build with Frimlin. This is part 4, the final part of the Uptown Heights mini-series, and after a little bit of thought, and also I asked via a poll on Twitter, I combined level 3 and level 4 into one video because I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to make, I was going to end up with two small videos, or I could go for a much larger combined video, and I don't know, it seemed more appropriate to end it in a combined video, and also that's what people voted for. so here it goes. So level 3 or floor 3 or whatever you want to call it has two large bedrooms on it, or two, well, I'd say actually they're medium. I mean, they look large if you think of them in terms of like compared to a starter house or a small family house, but I think they're kind of small in some regard. I really want to make a house that has really large bedrooms, and not just one or two, but like 4 or 5. And I'd like to have separate adjoining rooms just for that sim and stuff like that. That really appeals to me. That will come in the future, of course, with vampires on the horizon. It's only 2 or 3 days away now. Um, I'll be looking at doing some dark builds, as I mentioned in a previous video. But yeah, this is one of the larger bedrooms on level 3, and as you can see, there's a little mix of city living and vintage glamour stuff and base game stuff. I had a particular sim in mind when I was building this. One of my main families, well, my main family has a daughter, and her name is Ruby, and she's a twin. Her twin is Rodney, who's named after my cat, of course. um, and she's very nerdy, and so she really needed a computer in her room, but she's also girly as well, so she had a pink room, but it's not too pink, you know. Well, it's pink. Look at it, it's definitely pink. But it's kind of subtly pink, which I think is good, and I'll probably do that again. Now this room, I didn't have a particular sim in mind for it. I just wanted to make it look good, and it's unoccupied by my main family. And I guess when their new toddler is old enough, he will move into there. And yeah, I showed some photos of my main sim, Wendy, being pregnant with this little baby, who's now a toddler. Suddenly, he changed from baby to toddler very quickly. I don't know why. Maybe it's like I wanted to play with the new toddlers that have come to the game. Yeah, that's absolutely the reason. Anyway, his name is Maxime, which is a French male name, and it's actually one that I really quite like. There's a bunch of names that I really like, and that's one of them. I don't know, it has a kind of a strength to it. I think it's a kind of a sexy name. And yeah, anyway, we'll see how Maxime goes with that. But Maxime is a toddler at the moment, and he's causing some problems for Wendy because she's spending most of her time looking after, well, she's spending quite a lot of time looking after Maxime, but the rest of the family aren't helping out as much. And she's also like a published author, so she's trying to struggle at the moment between looking after Maxine and keeping the requirements of her job sorted out. Anyhow, slight divergence there. Looks like the camera paused for a couple of seconds as well. I usually edit that stuff out, so slightly annoyed at myself for leaving that in, but oh well. Let's continue with the commentary. So yeah, I rather liked what I did with the other bedroom. I hope you were looking and not just listening in to me. Because we did kind of skip by that and I didn't really talk about it. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it's got a bit of vintage glamour stuff in there as well. I get a feeling from tweets that I see that vintage glamour wasn't picked up by masses of people. I think it was more, you know, one of those ones that a select group of people decided to skip. I think it's a really classy pack. and I was glad to have got it. I mean, obviously I made some nice, well, I think they're nice houses out of it, and you know, to be completely frank, I could make more, and I would like to make more, but I feel I need to move on, and also it kind of worries me if you know, there's quite a few people out there who don't have the pack. They might hold off downloading something, you know, like this that has some vintage glamour items in it. Even though I don't think is it vintage glamour heavy? I wouldn't say so. But some of the iconic parts of rooms are vintage glamour stuff. I've been thinking of doing like a version that doesn't use vintage glamour, but you know, sometimes you just need to move on. Well, actually, all the time. You need to move on all the time. Move on to the next build. I've got to get this vampire stuff ready. I am thinking, I'll let you know now, but I'm thinking of preparing the builds in advance. I mean, I know people have already uploaded vampire focused builds or vampire friendly builds, but I'm thinking of doing like the base of the build somewhere else in the game using non-vampire stuff and then adding the vampire stuff on top. We shall see. Tell me in the comments what you think. Anyway, as you can see here, I'm making a little... This is my nightclub room. And so basically it's all about dancing. And there's also like a DJ machine. I've forgotten what it's called right now. DJ machine, that works, right? And a stereo, of course. And I went for a black and white look. That wallpaper is toddler wallpaper. So I kind of thought that would be cool to use because it's novel and new, and people will be like, huh, where's that wallpaper from? But hey, fancy black and white wallpaper for toddlers. Yeah, that's an interesting one, and I'm actually really pleased that that was put in there, so thank you very much to the artist who put that in. It's classy, I like it very much. Thinking about toddler rooms that could involve it, you know, if you go for a more... I've got this idea of this less colourful toddler room. Anyway, we shall see. So of course, in the bathroom, I'm going to stick the little bunny decals on the wall to keep the theming motif throughout the house bathrooms. Oh look, actually I don't know why I didn't cut this out. Look, I'm testing some stuff. You can see my Sims that I brought in. I actually made a Sim, well, it's kind of like a Sim self of me, but it doesn't really look like me at all. And I did one of my mum as well. And I brought them in to do some testing, you know, because I had to test the toddler stuff to make sure it was okay. One of the problems with doing active testing during the build was that toys got put away in toy boxes and stuff like that. You know, the Sims just trying to make things look tidier, but I was, you know, I don't usually leave things a little cluttered, but I liked having a little toy clutter in the toddler area. But that didn't survive up to the upload, and there's a few things actually that I found that I should have tweaked a bit before I uploaded. Hey look, I'm trying to make these toddler bookcases work in the hall there. In the end I decided, you know, maybe having little shelves with toddler focused things on them in the middle of the hallway, nowhere near the toddler room, was probably not a good idea. That's a series of almost bad ideas, and there's a couple of bad ideas that got through. I shall explain further on. I really liked using that painting there. Chosen carefully, a painting really sets the whole look of a room, and if you make a room very neutral and then stick a beautiful colourful painting on the wall, it kind of... I'm one of these people, I don't know, I've read about people like this, but sometimes I see something really beautiful and I'm kind of shocked and deeply moved. I get the feeling not everyone has that, and I've read that some people have it very strongly. So I like the idea of seeing something really beautiful for a split second and getting really affected by it. That happens to me all the time, and I like trying to cause it to happen in others in my builds if possible. You tell me in the comments if you think I ever get that. But yeah, look, I'm not that big-headed. I don't think everything's wonderful in my builds. I know there are problems, and I do kind of rush through things sometimes. And this build did have a few rushed things, like the second bedroom I did on the third floor actually has like a plant in the way, so that a sim, when they walk in and they want to go to the loo, they can't get past the plant. I'm really sorry about that. You can just move the plant or delete it like I did. um, Silly Willy, why did I do that? It's just rush playtesting, and I'm just going to put it out there. My bad. I will try harder. It's much easier with smaller builds, and I was very keen to share the penthouse with you. So here I am in what I'm calling my entertainment room, and there are a couple of tables so people can eat there. There's no food preparation on that in that room though, but there's a barbecue area on the rooftop just above, and the idea is that you can cook things in there and bring them down, or you can grab stuff off the tables next to the serving tables next to the dining tables, and you can. This is something I do all the time. I prepare in a room like that. I have like one serving table with all the breakfast items, breakfast foods, like a selection of like pancakes and fruit salad and stuff like that. And then on another table I have like day food, so roasts and sandwiches and full meals. And so I like having them already there, and I just send my Sims to go and eat there, and they all sit at the table talking to each other, catching up with each other, filling a bit of the social need for each other. And then I usually have one sim who's like the main cook, and that is Wendy in this house, and it's not always the female, just to get it right. And also my couples aren't always heterosexual. I mix it around. I absolutely try different sims and different combinations of sims. And so the main cook would then keep the tables topped up, and it's especially cool if you're learning cooking or baking or whatever during that process, because you can make new foods. And I think everyone loves foods in The Sims, right? I mean, a lot of people do, and that's why there's so many of them already in Sims 4. The developers, I mean, some of the gurus, I think it might have been Graham, said something like, "We're not going to have any kind of more foods for a while because there's so much in there already." And yeah, I agree. However, no, just joking. But yeah, there is always more food you can add. But yeah, I could completely agree. There's a massive wealth of foods, and I think people have a good selection now. People aren't complaining about lack of foods. I think I haven't seen that in my Twitter timeline, and so that must mean that that's the case, because that's where all facts are collected from, right? Yeah, I think absolutely you can pick up observations of player behavior from tweets. And I follow lots of people on Twitter. A lot of people I notice don't follow many people, and I think possibly it comes down to not using programs, or not using utilities or whatever they're called, like TweetDeck. I use TweetDeck, which is like an extension for Chrome, and you can have different columns, and you can choose what's in each column. Like you can have a column where you just see tweets from Cinderella Mouse. I don't have one like that. Just let me put that out there. However, I have got like my normal home timeline where I see everyone's tweets that I follow, and then I have like a what I call a Sims 4 list, and it's an invisible list that only I can see, hopefully. And in that, I've chosen people from the Sims community that I follow, that I think I like, particularly what they say and that kind of stuff. We tend to have similar opinions on things, that kind of stuff. So it's a little biased, personal, plucked list of people I like talking to, and so I can focus on that column if I want to see people I want to interact with. And I just think if people open up to organizing their Twitter a bit better, they don't have to just restrict themselves to following a couple of hundred people. So I've been working as a community manager for a few years now. uh, and I've got an idea of what I'm talking about, and you don't have to be afraid to follow more people. Anyway, but I think there's also an aspect of following people that shows that I think people feel it shows some kind of approval of them or something like that. Um, so maybe people are being careful about who they follow on Twitter because they don't want to show that they approve of all these people if they haven't really had the chance to check them out and get to know them. That could be something else. Another idea out there. So yeah, this room is attached to the main bedroom, and basically I wanted the main bedroom to be, well, it has to be the biggest of all the rooms, and it is, and it has its own big rooms attached to it. This one is like a place where you can get dressed, do the makeup, um, use the computer, because my main sim, Wendy, she is an author, she uses the computer all the time, and also had to have a decent ensuite, so they've got like 2 toilets, so there's never any competition if they wake up at the same time, which is something I get annoyed by if you have to send a sim to another level to get ready for the day because there's no space in the ensuite or the nearest bathroom. That's annoying for me. So yeah, I tried to get something different going on in this ensuite, though it's still got the same theme as the other bathrooms. But I spent some time placing a small table and sink. Not completely sure about it, but it's there. The sink is just kind of floating, in the middle of the room. It doesn't seem to have any obvious plumbing. Sometimes sometimes you can arrange items in The Sims where you don't really think about that wouldn't work in reality. It's like a suspension of belief, or is it a suspension of disbelief? I don't know. Anyway, uh, I love those chairs. I hope I can leave some in there. I don't remember. That's the butler's room, by the way. And I don't have a screenshot ready for that. Oh no. Oh well. But yeah, you can see that if you actually download it, there's a few people that have downloaded it, but not anywhere near my first penthouse, my first big penthouse. But that big penthouse, my Shuno Horizons, was favorited by Maxis, so that's why it got so popular. If you get a bit of exposure, then yeah, your builds can get a bit of attention, and so obviously you can't rely on Max's favorites to get by, and building up an audience of in-game followers is what I'm going for. What I'd love to see in the gallery is stuff like showing how many of your followers had downloaded your stuff and stuff like that. Each of your builds, more focused reporting back and statistics, because I imagine something like the percentage of how many of your followers downloaded a build might be something good to aim for, because that those people like your stuff generally. So if a lot of them are downloading it, then you're probably pleasing them, and that's good for a builder to know. But I know that Maxis knows that there's a lot more that can be done with building stuff, and hopefully they know there's stuff that can be done with the gallery, because I think there's definitely some work that could be put in there to make things better for builders and also for people that love downloading builders' work. But yeah, that's my little spiel out the way. It wasn't prepared, it just popped up. Anyway, so this little area in the main bedroom is obviously to get dressed in, and you see this little divider I placed? Well, I don't think it survives the upload, because when I placed it in the world to test it out later on, I think after I'd uploaded it, I saw that was in the family inventory, so that little divider disappears. But actually it's fine without it. But I quite like to divide the dressing area and the main bed. I took out those sofas and stuck in these little tables instead, and I didn't stick any decoration on them, and the reason is because, as I said in the previous video, I like having blank surfaces, but in retrospect I think I should have put like a flower or something on each one, or something, because they look a little bare, but it's not too bad. That is also a toddler's wallpaper in that study area, that study dressing room. Black and white, kind of mountain theme. So as you can see, I'm not just sticking to the third floor, fourth floor. I mean, that butler room, sorry, is right on the very bottom. And also I make the trophy room, and this is where I'm keeping, I call it the trophy room, I don't know why. But this is like the collection room. This is where you keep your collection items. Well, in theory, I think you probably have to add some specific places to stick like insects and stuff like that on, but for the moment I just made it a whole lot of shelves with a token, hopefully uncommon collector's item, just to give you the idea this is where you stick your collector's items, to kind of showcase them and so your visitors can come around and have a look. I'm not sure if I have a screenshot of that at the end, I'm pretty sure I don't. And I could think one of the reasons for that is because actually it was really difficult taking screenshots in that outer, what you call it, the outer ring rooms. All of them were very difficult to get the camera in without it going crazy, because there's already weird camera stuff going on in apartments. I mean, sorry, penthouses, at the edge of builds and stuff like that. So it was very, and it's a very narrow space. So it looks okay in game, especially if, like me, you play with I think it's the middle setting where not all the walls are down, but the walls are down selectively based on where Sims are in the house. So yeah, I'm not just focusing on level 3 and level 4, I'm just finishing up everything, and this room I'm working on now is the study, and it's on the bottom floor, and I went for like a grey, black, white. I think that wallpaper is also a toddler's wallpaper, not sure off the top of my head, maybe not, but it was one I hadn't seen before, so that's why I suspect it's toddlers as well. Filling up a hole in the wellness room, it looks like. It's always good, of course, if you're making a big build, to look back on your old stuff and see if there's anything that you left behind. Yeah, filling some bigger spaces that look like they were a bit empty. I think I mentioned this earlier as well in a previous video, but I placed a few more seating areas and surfaces around the place. It wasn't just to fill the space, but like I said, it was to encourage Sims to just sit down randomly in certain spots and talk to each other, and also to make sure that there's places to put down food when you're finished with it, and books and stuff like that. So there is screenshots of the study at the end, which is good. Oh, actually, I don't know if you saw that little area I just made up those 2 seats. I love that little area. Here we go. And it's got like candles between it when I finish. I love that little seated area. Some quick camera action going on. Oh look, there's those stairs still. They are not in the upload. I don't know what I was thinking with those stairs. I think I just wanted some kind of, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, anyway. It looks like I experimented in making the toddler room much bigger. Toddler bedroom. But I ended up with like another weird space. I just thought, hey, let's just make the toddler room even weirder. No, let's just leave it as a little toddler bedroom. I put it back to how it was. This is where I take out one of the, what do you call them? TV tables. I can't think of what they're called off the top of my head. And one of the sofas, and I stick some little seating, sofa, what do you call them, cushiony things next to the sofa. Added some more counters and stuff like that, and this is where I think I ruined the counter there, so the only free counter to prepare food on has now got paper towels in it. Dang! Deleted what was on the rooftops and added new walls, and I'm using these Espada lighted walls. Why? Because I've not used them before. I think I probably thought they were a bit tacky or something like that in a nice way, and they obviously they suit nightclubs and spas and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of added like a glitzy, shall we say, look to the building. It keeps things nice and bright. You know, I didn't want anyone to turn around and say, this place is too dark. So if you've got like light walls and light floors, then it can never be too dark, right? So I made a little barbecue area, which is where Sims will go to prepare food if you don't move those paper towels in the kitchen. And a little space for a hot tub coming up. Not sure about this hot tub placement. Where it is now probably was a better option. I move it around a bit more. I wanted to have more exposed sides for Sims to get in too. Now, the garden. So, some people know me as a bit of a gardener in my builds, and I've got to say this garden wasn't like any kind of masterpiece. I went through it really quickly, and I regret that now, but I was trying to finish the build. So, sorry about that. But it's okay. It's okay, right? But when I upload, I didn't actually upload one of those bamboo, what do you call them, bamboo plants? And I was going to say bamboo stalks, but that's not what I want to say. So it looks a bit uneven when it's uploaded. But yeah, it's really just a piecemeal garden. I also wanted to make sure that you could run around the house if you needed to. Not sure why you'd want to now. Anyway, screenshots. This is the study. You can play darts. You can read a book. Have a view of the city. This is like a misc hallway. And this is the hot tub, the roof. And the garden area, it's not uploaded with any plants, but of course you can plant them. Now, the entertainment room. Seem to have quite a few shots of this. Love my karaoke. And the piano. That's Wendy pregnant. And here's one of the larger bedrooms. And the other. Move the plant next to the sofa thingy. And the main bedroom at night. And at day. Well, one view. There's more coming up. The kind of attached study preparation area. Another shot of the main bedroom. An area on the roof for yoga with some wind chimes. The nightclub with the bar and seated area. And the DJ machine and stereo, a dance floor. And here's a view from the exterior. And there's a couple more coming up. Thank you so much for watching this series. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed making it. And I'm really glad to move on from this build now and do some new stuff, like vampire stuff. So let's see what I come up with. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and please leave a comment if you enjoyed watching this, and subscribe as well. Go on. What have you got to lose? Anyway, bye bye.